The line between quick and fast is all that separates the top dogs of the dirt drags. From the winner's circle to a mechanical nightmare in the pits, the MRA Elite are set to tear into this Merrimack farmland. Will this new ground yield shattered records or shattered faith? Welcome to the Merrimack region of the state of Missouri. Beautiful farmland surrounding us, beautiful weather to top it off, and today we feature the open class on the paddle tires. Last time out it was the cut tire. Your winner was Joel Coolidge. The last time we saw the paddle tires, one guy has upkept a win streak that started in Prague, Oklahoma and continued through his backyard in Gore Springs, Mississippi. That man is Kevin Harrison, and he's standing by right now with our own Doc Riley.
Well, Harrison Log and Ride is getting ready to go paddle tire racing. You know, been interesting. The last two events we've been to, when the cuts have been on it, you guys have suffered some blower belt breakage.
Yes, sir. In Mississippi, we had a little bit too much power in it, and it broke the first pass when he got on the rev limiter. When it busted the pulley, we didn't realize it. But last night when it broke, we're not really sure what caused it. We found a couple of little issues and come back, put a new belt on it, and made it down the track that time. Wasn't the fastest time, but it did make it down the track.
Well, let's go back to that weekend in Mississippi when you had all that problem with the blower belt breaking. The next day, come out and yes, it was 100% different.
Yes, sir. The paddle tires make a lot of difference. You can put a lot more power to the track with the paddle tires versus the cut. On the cuts, it's a tuning game of how much power you can actually put down the track without blowing the tire, without spinning.
You guys make some horsepower.
Yes, sir. It should make around 3,500 on a good day.
Well, we'll see if today is a good day, just like it was the last time it was out.
I want to bring a look at the track, and it looks real good right now, so I'm fixing to get on the computer, and we're fixing to do a little tuning on it.
Well, they brought in a lot of heavy dirt before this weekend. Even with the rain, this track should be yielding some fast times. It was definitely impressive yesterday. As we take a look at the points going into today's action in the open paddle class, Kevin Harrison up on top, just leading Billy Fling, who sits down in second. Tyler Coolidge, David Hahn, who we haven't seen in a while, but he will return before the end of the year. And Steve Renaud moving up into the number 5 spot. Now, we don't just have the open class here. We'll also be seeing pro stocks here in just a couple of minutes. We'll be seeing the modified class a little bit later, and right now on the line is the super stock class. These are the steel-bodied trucks, and this is the only eliminator class on the tour. And Doc talked to one of the greats earlier.
Let's bring you up today to the world of super stock racing. And hey, man, I'll tell you one thing. Bad-looking truck, man, from the outside. It's got plenty of power.
Thank you. It runs good. It makes big power. Bischoff Engine Service built me a good motor.
That is a good motor, and you know one thing about that too, very durable too.
Yeah, it's got a lot of runs under its belt.
Tell me about what's racing this year. What's kind of different than what it has been in the past?
Well, they're actually enforcing the rules that they had and making it a little more fair for the people. Instead of it being a free-for-all, they're making it to where everybody has the same chance. Put it more into the driver than the equipment that you build.
Sure. And single elimination.
Single elimination makes it a lot harder. You mess up, you're done.
Now, do you kind of know that in the back of your head that you can't mess up, or do you go, I'm just going to go flat out anyway and hope I don't mess up?
I've always been a flat out, hope I don't mess up person, and if it happens, it happens. But I'm pretty decent on the lights. I'm starting to get practice on them, and it should be a good race.
Well, we'll see if Hoskins can get the job done here as we move on into our qualifying round highlights. Jacob Smith nearest the camera, lining up next to Garrett Williams, a pair of 632 cubic inch big block Chevys paired up on the line. Very different looking trucks, very different weight, but very similar power plants. Williams laying down the faster of the two times, but they were close. And remember, with this being an eliminator class, the ET might reflect a faster run, but you got to get to the finish line first to win. Right now, though, still in qualifying, they're racing the clock. Kevin Stockwell in the Ford Yellow Thunder, the lone Ford in the field out of South Dakota, not far from the Minnesota border, takes on your nightmare out of Rising Sun, Indiana. That is Jason Hoskins, who Doc talked to earlier. The Ford may be a little underpowered with the 468, the 643 Bischoff engine getting the job done for Jason Hoskins. He would take the number 1 spot out of that qualifying round. As you see the open class drivers taking a look at the starting line, seeing how chewed up it got after that, but they're going to go back and get their vehicles ready. You can see behind them, though, the Pro Stock class getting ready to take to this track. They put a quick groom on this after the Super Stock qualifying round, and that means it is time to bring the Pro Stockers to the line. You see that bright orange Chevy on the right-hand side of your screen in the left lane. That is Jesse Brown out of Waverly, Tennessee in Loose Cannon. He's been tough this season, trying to maintain a top spot on this series. We'll see how he finishes by year's end. The Volunteer State Chevrolet is going up against another big bad Chevy, that one of Rick George, the George Farms own Shag Nasty out of Franklin, Georgia. Those of you who followed the sport of mud racing or dirt racing over the years probably know the name Franklin, Georgia. That state used to host one of the premier mud parks in the entire country. Now Rick George making his home there, a 707 cubic inch John Conkle big block Chevy, and the other side a 715 cubic inch big block Chevy in the Rocky Brown owned Loose Cannon. We'll see who comes out of this first session with the top spot here in the Pro Stock division. Both of those trucks looking good. George was moving around an awful lot, and I do believe it hurt him. Brown taking the lead time out of that run. Look at him come off the line, picking the front end up. Rick George, like I said, moving off, it looks like, to the left-hand side of the track, had to drive the truck back around, and that may have hurt the time just a little bit. We'll see if he can gain back a little bit of ET. Yeah, right there, he moves over to the center of the track, had to keep the truck off the clocks at the end to avoid a disqualification, and that slowed him down just a little bit. Our next pair coming to the line, all in one. Gage Labazio out of Knoxville, Illinois. CJ10 built in 1993 with the Oakley Motorsports big block Ford in the front, going up against Greg Booker, American Outlaw, from right here at home on Booker Farms here in Steelville. We'll see if he has the home state advantage right now in session 1. Both of those guys moving around a bit, and it hurt him. That means Jesse Brown will hang on to that top spot. Lamazio getting the faster of those two runs, but not going to be enough to take over the number 1 spot. Another look at the run, and you can see both of them scooting around Lamazio quite a bit. Surprising that he got the faster of those two times with the problems he clearly had on the run. The next machine will head to the starting line. Good crowd on hand on a beautiful afternoon here in the Show Me State. Here's Don Cato from Advance, Missouri. Awesome looking altered wheelbase Jeep. Seen him before. He had some problems the first time we saw him out in Transfer, Pennsylvania. He's going to go side by side with the Grouch 2.0 out of Arroyo Hondo, New Mexico. Larry Jeremio. We will see if Cato can get the measure of the New Mexico Chevrolet. Larry went ahead and made his run a little bit out of shape there in the shutdown area. It looks like the rear end got loose on him. What happened to Cato? You see a crew member down there fixing something, and it looks like they're going to go ahead and let him take the green light with a very slow reaction time. Wild run there as he carried the front end. Cato actually going to get the better time at a 2:98. Never mind the reaction time. He's not going to pick up the bonus at this event for that reaction time, at least not with that run. We'll see if he can come back later and speed things up. Still, though, they're not able to get past Jesse Brown as we take another look at the run. Watch him carry the front end. He'll set it down, I don't know, about half track and then picks it back up. Getting on the power there. May need to make an adjustment in the rear suspension. Try to get that front end back down as we get ready to take a look at the second half of the Lombazio team right here. This is all in to Sam Lombazio out of Knoxville, Illinois in the 29 Bucket T pickup. Beautiful looking machine with the hot rod body and all the chrome. He's got chrome springs. Beautiful truck. He goes up against a guy who comes a long way to compete at these events, Rodney Merritt out of Gar, Colorado, in the mile-high bow tie called Disturbed. Mazio moving off toward the right. Almost got into those barriers over there at 290. Not going to get him into the number one position. Not right now anyway. So Jesse Brown is hanging on there with the 283. Then it's Rick George. Sam Lombazio, though, moving into the number 3 spot. Don Cato, in spite of having his problems on the line, sits number 4. And then Gage Lombazio keeping that family of the dirt drags in the top 5 with all in one. We are just getting started here on Saturday afternoon in Steelville, Missouri. We will be back. The blower cars and the nitrous cars line up when we come back to Steelville.
This Back Channel Productions program is brought to you in part by Monsters Monthly. For up-to-date info, media, and all your other Monster Truck needs, visit monstersmonthly.com. And by Crush This. For a look inside the world of monster trucks, check out Crush This, a Monster Truck podcast.
Canfield, are you ready? The Kuhfleitner Auto Group Outlaw Monster Truck Drags make their return to the Canfield Fairgrounds September 24th. Watch some of the nation's top monster trucks compete in the country's premier monster truck racing series, including the Outlaw Pro Mod Monster Trucks. Plus, take a ride in a real monster truck with Mayhem the Ride. Come early and see the trucks up close in Thunder Alley and check out the Rooster Rally Car Show benefiting the Mahoning County 4-H. Tickets available now at OutlawMonsterTruckDrags.com. The Kuhfleitner Auto Group Outlaw Monster Truck Drags. Brought to you by Bernard Daniels Lumber, Complete Pest Solutions, Ziegler Diesel Performance, Picture Perfect Window Cleaning, Gia Angelo's Pizzeria, Armstrong, High Octane Coffee, JS Bova Excavating, Glide and Oil Company, and Go Drive Magazines. Bigger, louder, faster.
This Back Channel Productions program is brought to you in part by RPM Army. For a wide array of content from across the motorsports world, visit rpmarmy.com. Your high-performance fix on the go.
Back Channel Productions bringing you all the action of the 2022 MRA Championship Series. Take a look at the Round 1 bracket in the Super Stocks. Jason Hoskins will take on Garrett Williams. It'll be Kevin Stockwell taking on Jacob Smith in this 4-truck single elimination bracket here in Steelville at Booker Farms. A big thank you to the Booker family for their hospitality, and of course the MRA for taking care of us this year. Hog Wild. There you see Garrett Williams again with that 632 cubic inch ring racing engine. Ran a 328 in the qualifying session as he pairs up with Jason Hoskins, who ran a 324. Very similar appearing trucks. Hoskins, though, may have the advantage. He has been dominant in this series in the past. He's had a good bunch of runs here this year on some other series. We'll see what he has for Garrett Williams here in round 1 of the Super Stock Eliminator. Hoskins, a clear-cut winner on that one, maybe about a truck length at the end. He started to pull Williams at the end of the run, a 328 to a 339, and the reaction time clearly going to your nightmare. That is going to potentially put him in position to pick up the $100 reaction time bonus as Kevin Stockwell in Yellow Thunder out of South Dakota rolls out. Says a big thanks to his family, Ashley, Owen, Linda, and Sawyer. Ran a 388 in in the qualifying session. He pairs with Jacob Smith, who ran a 3:30 qualifying round. 632 cubic inch Chevrolet big block in the front of that one. You can see track crew having to run out to pick up some shrapnel. I'm not sure where that came from or what vehicle it came off of, but luckily nobody's run over. You can do a lot of damage to one of these cut tires. Those DOT boggers, when they're cut, are paper thin. Let's see if Stockwell can pull the upset on Smith. Smith definitely going to get that one again out of the right-hand lane to 333 to a 375. Smith will move on into the championship race where he will take on Jason Hoskins. The birds fly away. We're going to get a quick groom on the track. Try to get that heavy dirt back on top, get these guys a little bit of grip. Remember, we have another 2 classes that have to hit this track. The modified cuts who ran paddles yesterday, and before they come out, we'll be taking a look at the open class paddle tire division that we talked about at the top of the show, the big blower motor cars. There's only 4 of them left in competition here today. Greg Monsmith should have been in that division, but he suffered major drivetrain damage yesterday evening in the cut tire open class division. Now, back on the line for the championship race in the super stock class. We'll see if Hoskins can pull off a victory. He was very confident coming in, but he has a tough customer across the track from him in the left-hand lane in Jacob Smith, the S10, and the square body step side ready to go. Very close on the end. It looked like Hoskins. Indeed it was. A 3:28. Doesn't beat his reaction time, but he didn't need to. He will pick up the bonus. He will pick up the victory, and it was a good run to get him there. Look at that nice straight pass. Smith gave him all he wanted, but it wasn't enough as Hoskins picks up the victory in the Super Stocks.
Well, as is the case so many times, the Your Nightmare truck is exactly as advertised. Great. You know, it's really cool when you put the truck right on the trailer.
Well, I didn't want to shut it off. I had trouble for it starting on the first round. It backfired to the carburetor, and I didn't know what the problem was, so I just run it straight up on the trailer so I didn't tear nothing up.
Better to have that happen than before the race, right?
Well, I didn't think I was going to make the first pass. It didn't want to fire. It took me probably 2 or 3 minutes to get it to even fire up. I don't know what caused it.
Well, that'll give you something to do next week.
I'm going to take it home, and I'm going to go through it, and I'm going to figure out what the problem is because I can't take that.
You got to love it. You're in the history books here. First-time winner here. This is pretty outstanding.
I got the fastest reaction time. I got the fastest qualifying time, and I won the race.
Well, and that'll make the trip back to Indiana just so much better.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Doc. Great to see Hoskins pick up that victory. Great family here in this MRA Championship Series in the Super Stocks. Now the open cars come to the line. You see the paddle tires. They are going to dig up the Show Me State soil. There is your points leader in this division, Kevin Harrison, and Never Enough out of Grenada, Mississippi, with a 527 cubic inch Noonan racing engine. That is Aussie-built horsepower, and it goes up against Steve Renaud, the man who comes the furthest to be here out of Hornpain, Ontario. His crew chief, Gary Baker, helping him out this season. Great to see Gary back out here. A 481X, 526 cubic inches, prepared by Atchison Machine Service out of London, Ontario. So an interesting power plant there. Can he use the lower end performance to beat these big Hemis? We'll see. Harrison bouncing around as he comes into the shutdown area, and Renaud will pick up the fast time early, a 2:19 for the man out of Hornpain, Ontario, to take the #1 spot early in the open class. And watch him again. Harrison clearly off the line first, trying to get the reaction time bonus, but look at the car move around as he picked up the front end, and the thing started to kind of swivel on the back wheels. They may need to make an adjustment before they come back. The good thing is he didn't have any mechanical problems that time, so the car looks solid as the Two Harbors, Minnesota-based Nightmare 6 rolls out. The second-generation driver, Tyler Coolidge, the son of Joel Coolidge. Joel, we saw driving this car yesterday in the cut tire class. He did a nice job, won the class. with 110-mile-an-hour pass. So he not only was quick, he was fast. We'll see if Tyler can do the same thing. He had a rough go of it. Last time we saw him, he takes on a tough opponent and last season's overall champion. That's Billy Fling out of Sunbury, Ohio. In the Brasket Race Cars Built Reality Check. That thing started life basically as a funny car chassis, but it is dirt dragger from about a quarter chassis forward. Let's see what he has for the Racing in the Dirt Built Nightmare 6. Big explosion on the starting line, and Nightmare 6 goes dead in the water. Both of them with mechanical problems, engine problems. Right off the bat, did Billy Fling just blow up a power plant, or did he just lift the blower? You see some confusion down there on the line. He's got an alcohol fire, though, coming out of the left side of the engine. You can see they just noticed that. It's hard to see, especially here in the daylight, except for the haze. And look at that, a blower belt wrapped around the injector hat on Nightmare 6. So nothing too serious there, but it is going to cost him a run. Watch this again. Bang, right there. Billy Fling blowing the burst panels out of the engine. That's why they were kind of looking to find out what happened. Hopefully they'll get that figured out. Right now, Doc Riley is headed down to talk to Tyler Coolidge about his problems.
Well, in round number 1, a blower belt, huh?
Yep, this is a worn-out belt that we've been using for quite a while.
Well, at least you got some good laps in it.
Yeah, we have about 20 passes on it or so. So got a new one on it now, so be ready for second round.
That's all it is. Anything different in the second round you guys will do?
Hopefully the air gets a little bit cooler, so you can make a little bit more horsepower.
Well, these blower motors definitely like that cooler air. We'll see as it gets later into the afternoon and the sun goes down behind the trees a bit. It'll probably cool off the valley a little bit. In the meantime, Doc Riley's wandered over to the Frantic Pits, and he's got an update for us.
You know, one thing that's changed over the years, a lot of times when a round would be done, you'd come out here and you'd see the entire crew around the car. Not so much anymore. Many times they're just going right to the trailer and looking at the computer, taking a look at all the information it's got right there. Your number 1 qualifier coming out of round number 1, the Frantic team. And again, they're going to check all the numbers, make the adjustments to come back for their second pass.
Interesting to look in on these teams who are leading the field right now. Not happy with that run, and they're one of 2 cars that actually got down the track at the 219 for Steve Renaud. But you saw how serious they were about reading that data. That means there's more in that car. Kevin Harrison sitting in second, and of course the 2 machines you just saw broke on the line. One will be back. Will the other? We'll find out. Stay with us. To the modified class in the cut tire division, coming at you right now from Steelville, Missouri. Booker Farms a little bit earlier in the afternoon. This class ran. You see Scott O'Rogie at the wheel of Deranged. Normally we see his son Shane behind the wheel. Scott decided to wheel the car today. One of the last times we'll probably see him go down the track, at least until next year, as he'll be taking a little time off. Scott laying down the fast time early in the modified class. Car had such a beautiful takeoff as the chute pops at a 2.57 for Scott O'Rogie, setting a solid pace and one that was definitely going to be tough for the other 2 in this class to get around. And when I say the other 2, one of those is his son Shane. You see Scott standing there in the red crew shirt. Shane Olrogi at the wheel of Scream. Shane out of Cleveland, Wisconsin. Jason Chaya out of Weyawega, Wisconsin. And they have their hands on this Bronco as well at the Racing in the Dirt shop. So this was a pretty even match. But watch Chaya in the far lane on this run. The sound of that chute going off was like a shotgun blast as it ripped that thing straight. He DQs, but he avoided a major disaster. Had he gotten any more sideways and tucked that left rear, he would have gone side for side. Look how out of shape that Bronco was as he wiped out the clock. He would come back and make a legal pass to get himself on the board, but it was to no avail as Scott Olrogi hung in there. But again, Jason Chaya steering clear of disaster. He popped the chute and it pulled the rear of that car straight. Watch it one more time from the sidelines. So glad that Jason did not tuck that corner and roll that car. We did not want to be cleaning that up off the track. Jock Riley caught up with your winner, Scott Olrogi.
It's always good in any motorsport when you get a father and son combination to do so well at a track. That doesn't mean they always win, but this is one of those rare occurrences where it pays off. And of course, it pays off with the dad taking home the big check. Congratulations, man! Nice run.
Thank you. It's just it's work. It's work. We're helping campaign the Bronco for Greg Martinez, and we got second with that one. We got ours in the winner's circle, and it's just a great feeling.
You know, for the past couple of races, this bad boy's been giving you some headaches, and tonight it was flawless.
Well, it's still, we're working out some issues. You know, it's just not as happy as it was last year, and we'll get it. We got a month now before the Nebraska race, and we'll keep working on it.
And Scream just continues to deliver.
We keep working on that one pretty hot and heavy. Like I said, Greg is giving us the to get it right for him, for when his back is better and he can get in it. We got some changes we know we can do on that one right out of the gate. Tuesday we'll be working on it. So
what's nice is you guys can record the 1-2 punch here. Goes in the record book as the very first winners.
Yes, at this track, yes.
Well, it's great to see Scott picking up another victory for the Racing in the Dirt team out of Cleveland, Wisconsin. We're back on the line for live action here in our Pro Stock Division, Session 2. There you see Rodney Merritt, the Mile High Bow Tie, the Sonoma Body Machine out of Gar, Colorado, going side by side with Sam Lambazio out of Illinois in All-In 2. Two of the best-looking machines in the class, two of the best-looking machines on the premises. Let's see what they've got for Jesse Brown, who's leading the class. Lambazio getting buffeted a little bit there in the shutdown area, but it looked like a good run. He's closing in. 283 the time to beat a 286. Only about 300ths off the top time, so he'll get himself in the money for right now. He's in second place as Jesse Brown continues to lead. Good crowd on hand, looking on a beautiful afternoon, and it's cooling off for sure, so when we get back to the blower cars, we should be seeing some bigger horsepower. Actually, these guys are probably making a little more right now because they're not running the nitrous. Could be helping them as Larry Jaramillo comes out of New Mexico. Looking for a good ride, but he's way off to the center of the track. He almost wiped out the timing lights coming through the shutdown area, and it hurt him a 3-1-4. Not going to get him to the top spot. Crew taking a look at the tracks he left off the starting line. Watch how much he moves around on the run. He was fighting this thing all the way down, maybe from about half track. Not quite as close to the timing lights as I thought he was, but definitely out of shape coming into the shutdown area as Greg Booker rolls back to the line to go side by side with Gage Lambazio. That's all in one, and the American Outlaw, the Patina Rat Rod, from right here at Booker Farms in the left lane to the right of your screen. See if Booker or Gage can pick up any time here in Session 2. CJ10 blasting the track. You see him set that thing down in the shutdown area, 301. Surprisingly slower than I thought he would be. He was right there on the cusp of getting into the twos, but watch this thing plant when he lets out of the throttle. coming through the traps and definitely putting a workout on that chassis. That CJ10, though, looking good. This machine has lasted this family quite some time and netted them a few victories. Not going to get him to the top spot today for sure, but still laid down a pass in session 1 that he can be proud of as your leader right now. The man sitting on top of the field comes out to try to shore up his position. Loose cannon, Jesse Brown back on the line. Trying to better his own. 283 with a 2. 283 with a 0. He does it. Jesse Brown, he already had the Class 1, but he still came out to get the data. That's what you have to do to stay on top in this form of motorsports. Look at him fighting it a little bit. Still bettered his own time. A nice run for Jesse Brown here at Booker Farms. He will walk out with a Pro Stock victory, the first one ever here, and Doc Riley has caught up with Jesse.
Well, the loose cannon does it again, man. Nice run.
Yeah, it run pretty good today. We done a few little changes on it, and it made it a whole lot faster, and hopefully it'll keep going that way.
Can you reveal any of those changes?
We just done a little shock adjustment and stuff like that, and picked it up a little bit.
This track, no history on it before, no one else you can talk to about it. So, did you learn anything about this track this weekend?
Yeah, it does a whole lot better when they put water on it. It's a whole lot better when it's got some moisture in it, and it's a good track.
Yeah, that seemed to pay off last night.
Yeah, it got plenty of shutdown. It hooks good and don't have a bunch of rocks in it, so that makes it nice.
And we'll come back for a championship run here in a couple of months.
Yeah, hopefully we'll be leading in the points when we come back.
Well, if you continue to have weekends like this, that can come true.
Oh, yeah, maybe it'll happen.
The loose cannon making his presence known once again.
But Jesse never seems too sure of himself. He's still fighting a few problems here with some part shortages, but looking good here at Booker Farms at 283 to Lambasio's 286. Rick George hanging in there, number 3. He had some problems with that machine. Fortunately, did not go to the line. Had he, that could have been a disaster as he found out he had broken suspension as he reached the line. Don Cato and Gage Lambasio rounding out the top 5 here at Booker Farms with the MRA Pro Stock Division. We're not done. The open cars back on the line when we come back to Steelville.
Hey, welcome to Wild Man Adventures. Heard the Silver Lake Sand Dragway. There really wasn't any off-roading back then. It was all off-road. We're on our way to Lima, Ohio. Got wooden wheels.
Oh, it's slippery as all get out of.
Hey, we're here with Rich Cummins. Hey, we're here with Mike Potter. Hey, we're here with Alan Pizzo. Gotta check it out. This week we're gonna go down memory lane.
Welcome back to Steelville, Missouri, Booker Farms, as we get ready to wrap up this weekend of action with the open class session 2. You see Tyler Coolidge pulling into the staging area in Nightmare 6, and this is going to be interesting because you have 2 cars that have yet to make a paddle tire run on this dirt, and 1 driver here in the near lane who has not made a run on this dirt at all, save for the takeoff after he shredded the blower belt coming off the line on the other side of the track. Now, the man he's going against, Billy Fling out of Sunbury, Ohio, in the Reality Check front engine rail, the Brasket Race Cars built machine. He holds the 150 and 180-foot national records, but the man in the car to his right, that vehicle right now holds the fastest run on this track. Beautiful pairing right there. Did either of them better? Steve Renaud's time. Fling is leading the class. Can he hang in there? Well, watch it again. That is what those guys were looking for. Fling. I don't believe ran nitrous on that pass. He has a two-step in this engine that allows him to get a little bit more cool air into the top of the motor. I don't think he used it that time. He didn't want to blow it up. As our final pairing and our final run of the weekend rolls up to the tree. Look at the dust is still not settled on the starting line. Kevin Harrison and Never Enough out of Grenada, Mississippi. The rear engine rail built by Eric Bidlack. You see Eric off to his right in the Never Enough crew share against Steve Renaud out of Hornpain, Ontario in Frantic. Two very different machines with very different horsepower. Right now, the black machine on the left side of the track, furthest from the camera. Can he hang in there? Harrison gonna go after him. And it will not happen today. Steve Renaud taking the number 1 spot at 2:12 with a 9. Frantic. Taking a victory now in the paddle tire division as problems continue for the team out of Grenada, Mississippi. Kevin Harrison living a nightmare season right now after starting off with such a strong go in Oklahoma.
I don't know why.
There you see a blower belt. Again, a blower belt costs them a shot at a victory. He came off the line with so much power. That could have been a winning run had that thing not broken, but clearly it's not going to happen for him today. See the disgust on Kevin Harrison's face as he sits in the cockpit.
Broke it the same place, didn't it?
Ripped it right down the middle.
Down the middle.
See Brendan Bidlack holding the broken blower belt. That's the son of the chassis builder, Eric Bidlack. That is a good race car. That thing should not be having this problem. We'll see if he can get that rectified before too much longer into the season. Steve Renaud finishing off with the number 1 spot at the 2:12. Billy Fling moving up on his heels with the 2:15. Tyler Coolidge and Kevin Harrison round out the field.
Well, you know, this never gets old, does it? You end up coming to these events after all of those miles coming down here, all those kilometers that you have to travel to come down here and pick up another win. Congratulations.
Well, thank you very much. It's going to make the ride home a lot less painful.
That's what I was going to say. Now, but knowing you, you'll probably be thinking about what you can do different for the next time out.
Absolutely. I'll be studying data tonight.
Really? What's the data tell you? Is everything pretty positive? Is there something you can say, well, we really need to pick up something there?
I haven't studied the last pass yet, but the first pass told me that we were too hot on the hole. We gave it too much power. We're too ambitious. But the second round, we calmed it down enough where we got the win.
Well, it's interesting because the people are really leaving very, very well here, but sometimes you can probably be over-aggressive on that.
Oh, absolutely, because you think the track will take it, and it doesn't. And that's what happened in the first round.
And this is one of those places that you don't really have any data to go on.
That's right. It's the first time out here. So in the fall, it might be different. Now we got some data.
At least there's a place to start. Congratulations.
Well, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
You bet. Safe trip back to Canada. You know, when he comes back next time, they'll learn, and they continue to learn. I think that's what you'll find in a champion, especially in this sport, when you're shaving hundreds off of the time. They always do their homework, and they constantly think about how to strive to get one click better. Congratulations for the Frantic team as they pick up yet another win here on the MRA Trail.
See that computer module on the back of that machine, helping them collect all that data. Here's a look at the points coming out of today's action. You see Kevin Harrison losing ground on Billy Fling. Fling is now within one event striking distance, only 20 points outside of that top spot. He could do a lot of damage to Kevin Harrison's season hopes in the next couple weeks. Tyler Coolidge, Steve Renaud hanging on in there. He could make his presence known on the number 1 spot. And of course, David Hahn, who we haven't seen in a while, but he will be making a return in the next few weeks here. Right now, Doc Riley is standing by with your runner-up, Billy Fling.
Wow, you know something? You're one of the best second-place guys I've ever met.
I think I'm going to rename the car second place.
All the stuff you kind of chase from time to time, it's amazing to me you continue to be that competitive and finish second place.
Yeah, that thing blew the burst panels out of it on the 2-step, and I never found out why. So I just didn't use the 2-step on the second pass just to make a conservative pass, get a time, and we ended up second. So.
Yeah, that little burst panel can save a lot, but sometimes it can kind of confuse you, kind of mesh up a little bit.
Yes, it can.
Well,
still have no idea why it did it.
You know what's, I think, also the other great thing about this particular team is you guys check plugs and read stuff. You're not. I don't come over. No computer. Why is that?
I don't know. Old school.
Well, old school's working out pretty good right now. I mean, not great, but it's working out pretty good right now.
We're hanging. I'll take it.
Yeah. And of course, you can look at all those numbers that come on that computer screen, and that can kind of confuse a fellow from time to time.
Absolutely. I don't know. I've never used one, so I just read the plugs, tune it the way I see fit, and wherever we finish, we finish.
Well, there's a lot of experience there too.
Yeah, it helps.
Yeah, it does. Well, I think they'll keep reality check for a while, but we'll check in the next time we have an opportunity to see these guys and find out if second place is where they're going to be all year. Hopefully that's not the case.
Hopefully not.
Smiling Billy Fling as the crews wrap it up, pack it up, and get ready to head down the road to the next stop on the tour. For them, that'll be Burwell, Nebraska. We have plenty more action, though, coming at you later this season with the MRA. We will pick up action back in Gore Springs, Mississippi, where we started our season. Then we'll move on to Paducah, Kentucky, and we will wrap up the championship right back here at Booker Farms in Steelville, Missouri. We want to thank the Booker family for their hospitality, as well as the MRA Racing in the Dirt and Bidlack Racing Chassis. Thanks for joining us. We will see you next time.